The distress signal had been screaming into the void for almost 12 standard cycles. It was an ugly thing, raw, panicked, layered with interference from failing emitters and ion storms. Most passing civilizations logged it, flagged it as high risk, and moved on. The signal originated from Kepri Station, a marginal trade hub orbiting a red dwarf on the edge of mapped space. The region was infamous: unstable gravity tides, aggressive native microbes, and a debris field dense enough to shred unshielded hulls. No sane species lingered there. Kepri Station had once hosted 7 allied civilizations. Now its beacon pulsed alone, its automated message repeating in broken common: structural failure imminent. Life support compromised. Hostile entities aboard. Request immediate assistance. The Galactic Concord reviewed the call 3 times. Then they archived it. Rescue probabilities were below 3%. The station's orbit decayed hourly. Unknown hostile entities suggested either a containment breach or piracy, both scenarios involving extreme casualties. Concord doctrine was clear: do not risk functioning assets for doomed causes. And so, Kepri Station was left to die. Except the signal didn't stop. It jumped frequencies. It adapted. It bypassed encryption standards not yet ratified. It bled desperation through every band of subspace it could reach, like a wounded animal thrashing in tall grass. Eventually, it reached human space. On the bridge of the UNV Resolute, Commander Mara Cade listened to the playback in silence. Her jaw tightened, not in fear, but recognition. The cadence of panic was universal. She had heard it on Earth during flood evacuations, in Martian domes during hull breaches, and once, long ago, from her own lips. "How long?" she asked. 11 cycles, her comms officer replied. No one else responded. Mara exhaled slowly. "Plot a course." There was a pause. "Ma'am, that region is classified as a death trap," Mara finished. "I know." The Resolute was not a rescue vessel by Concord standards. It was over-armored, overpowered, and notoriously underinsured. Humanity had built it after first contact, when they realized something fundamental. The galaxy was not cruel, but it was fragile. Humans were not. Earth had been a death world long before the stars called them that. Tectonic violence, microbial warfare, predators built for killing, and a climate that shifted like a spiteful god. Humanity evolved not by avoiding danger, but by enduring it, and, eventually, mastering it. When other species saw chaos, humans saw terrain. "Notify Fleet Command," Mara said. "We're answering the call." Kepri Station was worse than the projections. As the Resolute dropped out of FTL, alarms flared immediately. Gravitational shear twisted space-time like wet cloth. The debris field glowed with radiation, fragments of old ships and shattered station modules drifting in lethal orbits. "Shields at 80%, engineering reported. And falling." "Divert auxiliary power," Mara ordered. "Bring us in manually." The station loomed ahead, a skeletal ring of metal, half its lights dead, atmosphere venting in thin, glittering streams. Something had torn through its outer hulls from the inside out. "Life signs?" Mara asked. "Scattered. Multiple species. Also, something else." The tactical officer hesitated. "Movement patterns don't match any known Concord species." Mara smiled grimly. "They never do." Docking clamps slammed into place under protest. The airlock doors groaned open, revealing darkness, smoke, and the distant echo of something moving too fast for comfort. The boarding team advanced, without hesitation. Humans moved differently than most species. Compact, efficient, their fear metabolized into focus. Their armor was scarred, layered with redundancies upon redundancies. Where others relied on shields and probability, humans relied on stubborn reality. Inside, the station was a nightmare. Corridors were warped, gravity fluctuating between crushing and absent. Alien bodies, avian, insectoid, silicon-based, lay where they had fallen. Some showed signs of energy burns. Others were simply torn apart. They were hunted, one Marine muttered. The hunters found them first. The creatures emerged from vents and collapsed bulkheads, sleek, chitinous things with too many limbs and adaptive camouflage that rippled as they moved. They screamed in ultrasonic bursts that shattered weaker materials. The first one lunged. The Marine shot it point blank. Human weapons were not elegant. They were devastating. Kinetic rounds punched through adaptive armor, relying on brute force rather than finesse. When the creatures adapted, the humans escalated fire, shock, sound, gravity. The corridor became a killing field. Containment breach, Mara said over comms. Xenofauna? More like xenopredators, science replied. They feed on stress responses. Fear pheromones. Panic. Mara nodded. That explains why they thrived here. Humans advanced anyway. They found survivors barricaded in the central habitat ring, a handful of representatives from 3 species, eyes wide with disbelief as armored bipeds battered down the emergency seal. One of the survivors, a tall, translucent being named Threxel, trembled as Mara removed her helmet. You came, Threxel whispered. No one else did. Mara met their gaze. Of course we did. The middle hours blurred into controlled chaos. Engineers stabilized the station's orbit by brute-forcing new thruster alignments. Medics treated wounds that would have killed most species outright, improvising cross-biological solutions on the fly. Marines hunted the remaining predators with methodical precision, flushing them into kill zones or venting entire sections into space. The creatures adapted constantly. So did the humans. Where the predators evolved claws, humans used walls. Where they developed armor, humans increased velocity. Where they attempted psychological warfare, flooding corridors with pheromones of terror, the humans sealed their suits and advanced in silence. Fear was optional. One by one, the predators fell. In the command center, Threxel watched the battle feeds in awe. They should not survive this, Threxel said. Your species, your homeworld. How did you endure it? Mara considered the question as she watched a Marine pry open a jammed door with nothing but hydraulic strength and profanity. We didn't have a choice, she said. Earth never gave us one. The final threat came not from claws or teeth, but from physics. Kepri Station's core had been compromised. The predators had nested near the reactor, feeding on the panic of engineers trying and failing to contain a cascading overload. Evacuation was impossible. The station would detonate within hours. Mara made the call. Detach the habitat ring, she ordered. We'll tow it. Engineering stared at her. That mass will tear us apart. Mara's smile was feral. Then reinforce the tow lines. They did. The Resolute burned engines beyond rated limits, hull screaming as it dragged the wounded station segment out of decaying orbit. Gravity waves battered them. Systems failed. Crew members were injured. No one stopped. When they finally cleared the danger zone, the reactor detonated behind them in a silent bloom of light. The survivors watched their former home vanish. They were alive. The aftermath rippled through the Concorde. Footage leaked, humans charging monsters, dragging entire stations through hell, laughing through injuries that would have ended other species. The archived distress call was replayed in council chambers, followed by the human response. Questions were asked. Why had humans gone when no one else did? Mara was summoned to testify. We assessed the risk, she told the assembled delegates. Then we accepted it. That is irrational, a delegate hissed. Mara shrugged. So is survival sometimes. Threxel spoke next, voice steady. We owe our lives to humanity. When the galaxy decided we were already dead, they disagreed. Silence followed. Then, slowly, policy changed. Distress calls once archived were flagged for human review. Joint rescue doctrines were rewritten. New classifications emerged in Concord databases. Deathworld species, humanity, primary traits, extreme resilience, adaptive combat response, high-risk tolerance. Secondary trait, will answer calls others will not. Out on the edge of space, the Resolute received another signal, faint, damaged, desperate. Mara listened, then stood. Set course, she said. Somewhere in the dark, someone needed help. And humanity had never been good at ignoring that.